Hey there everybody, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm your resident fantasy therapist and welcome back to my channel. Those of you here for the first time, welcome. My name is Kat Bowser. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm also a writer working on my first 2 novels, one the start of a series, one a standalone. And on my channel I like to talk about what I consider to be the heart of all writing. That's the characters. And the heart of the characters is their psychology. So that's the angle I like to take with pretty much everything I talk about on my channel. So first off, I apologize. I've been out of link for a while. I actually got sick last week. I'm finally feeling more or less like a human being now. Hi guys, so I have another book review for you today. Kaitlyn Keller was kind enough to send me an ARC for her book Mark of Favor, which comes out on the 10th. So I am letting you guys have this book review so you can hopefully decide that you want to pick it up for yourselves. As with all my book reviews, non-spoilers, I won't be telling you guys anything that you can't find out from the back of the book. So as I do with all my book reviews, I give you guys something I like, what I liked, what I thought needed work, and what I thought was unique. And then I end it with a psychological realism scale. So if there were character developments, events, things like that happening, I let you know about how realistic I think it was. I don't give out 5s unless it's a real story or based on a real story. So highest you can get is from a 1 to a 4. So that being said, I will start you guys off with essentially the back cover of the book, and we'll go from there. So from the back cover of the book. After 17-year-old Ember Lockley moves to Japan with her family because of her father's job, she braces for all kinds of changes, a language barrier, making new friends, even adjusting to a new sleep schedule. She's no stranger to moving around, and at least in Japan, she can embrace a culture she's already obsessed with. What she doesn't expect is that when she rescues a weasel from getting trampled at her school and gives it the name Sakuya, she enters into a binding contract, and not just any contract. By saving the animal, she earns a mark of favor, which she discovers is a marriage proposal from a powerful yokai. Unwillingly, Ember is whisked away and thrust into the spirit realm, a supposed myth of Japanese folklore. Though Sakuya is kind and offers anything to make her happy, she knows it's just a ruse to ensure she marries him. The more she learns about Sakuya and his past as an Inzuna yokai, the more she realizes that everything she knows about Japan might be wrong. If she hopes to survive and see her family again, she'll have to adapt, not only to her new relationship, but to the overall role she plays in the world of yokai. So, what did I like about this book? First and foremost, just like her last book I reviewed, this book knows its genre, and it plays with it. She addresses so many anime tropes, and some she plays straight, some she turns on her head, and the character figures out along with the reader that some of them are based in truth, some of them are complete lies, and some of them kind of fall in between. And that's really fun to play with, because I like it when a story recognizes the tropes and like the expectations of the genre, but isn't necessarily afraid of them. Like, you know, there's some expectations of the spirit realm from Japanese folklore that it plays straight, that I think work really well. And then there's some that it turns on its head, which I also think work really well. So definitely a knowledge of the genre and the type of story it is really plays in its favor. No pun intended. I also really like the characters. I'll go into this a little more in my unique section, but I really enjoy following Ember. She's interesting. She's not perfect. She makes some mistakes, and she makes some choices that you understand, but you don't necessarily agree with. And I think that is always good with a main character, when they do some things that you can see why they do them, even if you don't agree with them, but they also do some things that you agree with and you understand why they do them. So I really enjoyed all the characters in this story. What did I think needed work? A little bit of the pacing. There is a section in the middle, I'd say it's probably about a chapter or 2, and it just feels kind of slow. I mean, the book is a slow burn book. It's that way on purpose, and I think it serves its purpose well. But there is a chapter or two that it almost feels like you could have combined them into one chapter and made it work a little bit more in its favor. It just drags a little bit, not horribly. Like I still enjoyed the chapters. It just felt kind of like, okay, we're kind of dragging our feet here a little bit. But that was really the only real problem I had with this book. The only other thing, and it's kind of a nitpicky thing, but I'll bring it up. There is a section in the beginning where there is some slight contradiction within the story itself. I'm trying to think. So basically what happens is Ember notes that her schoolmates don't have a Japanese accent. A lot of them don't when they speak English. And then in the next, in a couple paragraphs later, she's saying the opposite. But honestly, that doesn't bother me too much, mainly because human beings are contradictory. We do things like that all the time. So it feels weird when you read it, but if you think about it from like a human perspective, it makes sense. So that one doesn't bother me, but it is there. What did I think was unique? I really love the way that she characterized Sakuya, the yokai, because he's doing things that on a personal level you're like, this is horrible, this is not right, but he's so naive about humans that he comes across as, I don't want to give anything away, but he comes across differently than how you think he should because of that naivete. And I really think it works well, because it's really a story of them discovering each other as the story goes along. So he learns about her, she learns about him. And I like that approach, because then there's things that you see Ember make assumptions, and the assumptions come back sometimes to bite her. But you also see him make assumptions, and the same thing can happen. So I really like the discovery kind of pattern that they have, in that they're learning about each other as the story goes along. So they're kind of learning at the same pace that the readers are, and that's always fun. So psychological realism scale, what would I give this one? Probably a 3.5. The main thing in this one is there is some stuff with Ember's family and the relationships between her and her parents and her sister, and it's not focused on as much because the focus is where it should be, which is her situation with the yokai, and that's where the situation should be. So the little bit of info we do get, I don't think it's inaccurate. I think there maybe could have been a little more emphasis put on her reactions to certain things, but overall I think it's done well. Could have used a little more detail, which is why I'm giving it a 3.5 and not a 4, but I don't think it's inaccurate. I just think maybe there could have been a little more detail sprinkled in there. And I can't tell you guys specifically about what without giving spoilers, so I'm not going to go into that. But I would consider accurate. Maybe lacking in a little detail, but accurate. So overall, I ranked this book a 5 out of 5, because I blew through it in about 2 days, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was unique. And I really highly recommend it, honestly. If you go in knowing it's a slow burn, like, don't go in expecting action after action, because you're not going to get it. It's not that type of book. But it is a slow burn, relationship building, character building story, which I really enjoy. So I highly recommend it. So I hope you guys will check it out if you get the chance. It is getting released on the 10th of November. I will leave the link below if you guys are interested. And as always, if you guys have comments or suggestions, leave them below. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you guys want to make sure you don't miss when I upload, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified anytime a new video goes up. I upload twice a week, once at the beginning of the week, once at the end of the week. And until next time, I hope you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, and have a good one.